Good morning, boys and girls, middle school students. There are quite a few of you that, for whatever the reason, did not show up to class this morning. And this is August the 14th. And Zoom, I know for my 10th graders, for whatever reason, I don't know, said that there were two meetings going on at the same time. And I think it's because logging in your classes as 9th grade and then 10th grade created conflict for Zoom, and so Zoom did not allow some of you to log in. Said that it was a busy meeting, that I was already in a meeting. So anyway, so I'm doing a video about what we have discussed today and what we did in lesson today. I'm showing you a couple of images of Rembrandt's work. And the reason why I'm doing this, even though this is not a still life, this is a portrait, he created value. Now, value is has the same meaning as tone, which means light to dark in grayscale. Instead of shading it in and just shading it in, he used lines to create the illusion of tones. And if you look closely, you can see cross-hatching, you can see scumbling, you can even see stippling, which is dots, hatching, which are vertical lines. Parallel lines, not vertical. Some of them are vertical, some of them are diagonal. You can see cross-hatching. So he used these skills and these techniques to give the idea of form. And form means taking a flat surface and creating the illusion of dimension, which you can see that he's done on the faces and on the sleeves and that kind of thing. I'm going to show you one more. Now, this is from the Dares collection. They have the largest collection of Rembrandts in the world. And actually, they came to Hong Kong when I was teaching in Hong Kong, and we did a competition, and we actually exhibited students' work alongside of the real Rembrandts, which was quite a privilege and honor. So this also too, and if I would zoom in just a little bit, you can see the fine marks that he's created to give the idea of form and shape. And this is what you need to know about these two images, is that the work is super duper small. This particular Rembrandt is this is almost actually true to size, which is about 3 inches by 2.5 inches. So it's really small detail work. Now I've got some examples of still lifes that I did using color and creating the idea of form, light reflections, shadows. This one doesn't do that so much because it's still a work in progress. You can see a little bit of that happening here, a little bit of different tones happening here, and then building of lines. Now this is gouache, which is a type of watercolor paint that is opaque. The other key thing that you'll see that I'm doing is I'm adding a lot of patterns, and you can see patterns in color and lines that create also the idea of form. Okay, and yeah, so anyway, these are all pieces that I did inspired by an artist and author, Grace Lynn, and this is one of her books. She does children's books. Now, so moving on, we've been focusing on still lifes and composition. Perspective is a key word today. Form is also another key word. Form is basically an object that takes up space. It's three-dimensional. Perspective means your line of sight, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Sketching. It's important that you realize, and I'm going to move over here so you can see some sketching. Now, these are some drawings on top of sketching. These revolving lines are the sketch, the plan. And these revolving lines that you see that's embedded in the artwork, and you can see it even more so here because I have not finished this or actually built the drawing yet. I haven't completed building the drawing on top of the sketch. The sketch is like your outline for writing. You might say that the outline is not seen in the written piece, but it actually is embedded. So you'll notice that the sketching is embedded into the drawing. Now, today we were continuing to practicing these skills. One of the things that we looked at and we talked about is perspective. Now, perspective means how you see things from where you're standing. This is what you need to understand. Perspective means that if an object is super close, it may appear larger than everything else, like it's giant, okay? And yet, what we know is this lemon is not any different in true size as the lemons that are in this vase. However, we know that depending on where we place in our composition, in our arrangement, is going to determine if that lemon looks larger than the other ones. Okay, so perspective is super important. Some key words that we were looking at today, whoops, wrong image, is foreground, middle ground, and background, and also the horizon line. Now, for a still life, the horizon plane or horizon line is the edge of the table. So when you look at this composition and you see the edge of the table, that is your horizon line. All right? Now, once you've gotten the sketch, then you build the drawing on top of. Remember, your assignment was 3, 4 to 8 sketches. Okay? And don't forget, you should be photo documenting everything you do. Now, those sketches, those still lifes, that was your homework, is not what you did in class or what you should be doing today. It should be the objects from your home. However, for those of you that missed the lesson today, and there's quite a few of you, and that's fine, but you need to make it up. So that means on the 3 to 8, you need to add another 3. Now, one of those, and let me see if I can find it, needs to be a blind contour. And I've got an example here. Let's see. Of a blind contour. Now you're probably going, I don't know what that is. I mean, just generally looking at it, it may not look like anything. But I'm going to do one real quick so that you can see what it looks like. Let's see if I can. Okay. So, blind contour. Those of you that have had classes with me last year know how to do this. But, and we did it with faces actually. But we're doing it now with objects. Let's see if it helps if I turn it this way. Okay. Well, that's a little funny. But anyway, with the blind contour, you want to try to start with one line and finish with that one line. So let's say, oh boy, I don't know if I can do this where you can actually see it. Okay, maybe now. Okay, so let's say I begin with that glass jar and I am going up the edges of the glass jar. I'm coming down. Now, as I'm doing this, I am not looking at the paper. I am only looking at the subject. Let's see if I can go around and then up. And then, now I'm actually looking through the glass. Now, Okay, so that is my blind contour. A lot of times kids get worried about what it looks like and the final outcome. Now, if you actually put yourself at the very beginning where I started, you would travel up that line and understand actually where I was. So you can document a journey through that. You might look at it the whole composition in general and go, I don't know what that is. But when you start traveling the journey, you have an understanding. Now, one of the things that I did with this, with the last class, was started to play with pattern and play with pattern in ways that showed also value. So how do I use pattern to build a dark space? Just like what we saw in Rembrandt. How do we create patterns to go dark to light or light to dark? Okay, and so you can do that as well. So for those of you that missed lesson today, you will need to, and you can use this video to create the exact compositions that the other students made, and I'll move over to this one so you can see this one. Oh, one thing you need to know about the background. You do not need to do the dog and the chair and the window blinds. That's not important for you today, or the pencils even. You can just pretend like, I'll move it out of the way, that does not exist. All right? So we did 2 sketches with the planning process and building on top of, and we did 1 additional blind contour. So you need to add that to your portfolio, to your collection of sketches and drawings. The finished work is due on Friday. That's an extension. Some kids are saying they were having a hard time uploading and putting things into ManageBack. My suggestion for you is to drop a folder into Google Docs and have yourself a folder of your images. You can also do it on PowerPoint and create a PowerPoint with your work, but you should have photographs, images of how you got the drawings and the sketches and the drawings, and then your final 2 pieces. Remember, your final 2 pieces was assigned as 1 color and 1 grayscale, tonal, black and white. Right? If you do not have access to color, and I understand some of you don't, then it can be a grayscale and tonal. Now let's say you're doing a tonal study on here. Well, you could start off with marker and then do your pattern making in pencil or in a fine tip black marker. So you have to adapt, just like your still life is all about what's part of your life. The things that you choose to get your work done has to do with what you have access to. Okay? So you may not have any color, and I get that, and I understand that. So what are you, the artist, going to do to deal with that? All right? So that was basically the lesson for the day. If you have any questions, you may email me. It's mebailey@asoy.org, and I will write you back. All right? Please, when you write me, if you would please tell me grade level and your name. All right? Have a good day. I'm going to today sit down and try to sort out what's going on with Zoom. I know for a few of you couldn't get on. I get it. But some of you didn't even try. And I can see that as well. All right? So let's be on top of things. You are expected to be in class. If there's a reason why you can't be, would you let me and Mr. Doig know? ASAP. Hey, have a great day. Take care of yourself. Be kind. This time that we are all sharing, the struggles that we're all sharing right now, it's important to have empathy and grace and to take care of yourself. I will see you on Friday.
good day.